I'm Todd Rowland. I am the brand manager for Alderac Entertainment Group. I'm over all the products at the company, and lately, as you may have seen, we've been getting into board games pretty heavy. We traditionally had been sort of known as the L5R company because we made the Legend of the Five Rings collectible game, card game, the role-playing game, all of that. But this year, we've really sort of put ourselves into the board game market, and we're really excited about a lot of the property that we have coming out this year. Our hottest game this year has definitely been the Adventurers. We partnered with Dust Games out of Italy, and they brought us this game, and it effectively is the first 15 minutes of Indiana Jones in a game. You've got the boulder, you've got the walls that close in on you, you've got the lava pit, you've got all that excitement and treasure hunting all in a game with beautiful little figures and everything else. And when we saw this concept of this game, we were hooked immediately, and I think on that very day we committed to producing it with them. And we brought it here. It officially releases in October 2009, but we brought it here with 100 copies as a pre-sale, and we had a line around the booth, and it was pretty exciting because it was AEG's first line around the booth at a GenCon show, and we managed to sell out of all 100 of them pretty quickly. We had a few left over, but they were bought up within probably 2 hours. So we're totally sold out. We're very excited about that one. The Dust guys were very excited about it. We're still running demos, and that table's been full the whole time with people hanging around watching to see the little pieces. And it's just really exciting. Our other hot game has been Tomb Cryptmaster, which is the sequel to last year's Tomb. It's a sequel and a expansion, yet it's also effectively another version of the game. If you remember the old Tomb, which we had, Tomb Cryptmaster is effectively, it's exactly the same. It's the double-sided board, and it's all those cards, all those characters, but they're all completely new. Everything in it is completely different. You don't get any repeated ones from the original Tomb. So it can play as a standalone, or it can be combined with the two if you want to mix in your favorite monsters or your favorite characters into it and play them in that. I am showing you Tomb because Tomb Cryptmaster sold out this morning. So we were really happy with that, and we're looking to have that in stores next month. In September, so people who like Tomb should really like Tomb Cryptmaster. We've added some new rules. We've added player versus player. We've added the Cryptmaster, which is the biggest addition to Tomb Cryptmaster. It's effectively a boss for the Tomb that when you put him into play at the beginning, he affects all the tombs and adds new challenges to the game. AEG is big on, if I had to pick a single word, AEG was very large on it was immersion and experience. When we pick games, we want you to feel like you are doing whatever the game is supposed to be. With Adventurers, it's very obvious. You have your guy in that tomb, and you're collecting that treasure, and you're running from that boulder. You know exactly what you're doing. With Tomb, it's very much a go get your party at the end, go kill the monster, take his stuff. You know, it's very much the dungeon crawl game. I'm looking around with Russian Crush, which I'll talk about in a moment. It's racing cars. You know, everything we do, we want to have a very clear theme. And most of all, with our theme of GenCon this year is just fun. If we think the game is fun, and we would sit around playing it at the office, you know, we're going to probably bring the game to you. Oh, well, the reaction today has just been fantastic. We have had a full demo area the whole day. Our demo guys are usually not even able to sit down because all the chairs are filled with people wanting to learn. The games have been very visually attractive. Russian Crush and the Adventurers just seem to draw people in from the aisle. We've seen a lot of great sales, which is always good when you're at the show. So we can't complain about that. And people coming up and asking us about the games that are there on sale. It's just, we've had a phenomenal show. We've been really happy with it this year. I love the people in costume. We've always promoted that with Five Rings. We have our own costume contest just for the L5R players that come through. I am really, this is going to sound bad, the L5R players actually do a bar crawl every year. It's the 5th annual, and I'm actually looking forward to getting out in Indy tonight, catching up with those guys. Since I moved over into doing board games instead of doing L5R, I haven't seen a lot of those people in a while, and catching up with them and kind of, acting silly and carrying on is something that I'm actually looking forward to. Our booth has been full, and our booth has been busy the whole time. We know to slow down at obvious times, lunch and stuff like that, but we've been constantly busy. Our CCG hall where we've been running our tournaments, we matched last year's attendance. And the difference there being that last year, we actually had a thing called the Samurai Fund, where we actually gave some players stipends to come because they had won certain tournaments. And now this year we didn't even do that, and we still had just as many people show up. So we've had actually quite good attendance. You know, my philosophy has always been, and this is sometimes bore out, is that entertainment is one medium that generally survives an economy pretty well. You know, people will give up buying new jeans before they'll give up going to the movies or buying a game they want. The video games are still doing great. These games, we're still selling a lot. We've moved through a lot of product. We haven't had a record-breaking year, but we have definitely been far from the worst year we've had as far as sales at this show goes. So I'll give you the 5-cent tour of most of our games that are coming out this year, and I'll show you a few that haven't come out just yet. Abandoned Ship. This is a Reiner game, actually. And much like most Reiner games, it looks very simple, but there's actually quite a lot of strategy to it once you play. It also looks like a kid's game, and it is great for kids, but there's a lot of gamer strategy to it, and the board itself is actually very cool, and the fact that you can pull on the board to make the ship sink as the rats are trying to get off, and it's fun. I mean, it's funny and it's silly, but it's a good game. In the same vein, we have Monkey Lab by Dan Manfredini. Monkey Lab it's a surprisingly tactical game in that you're trying to bust the other monkeys out of their cages, but you have to have specific tools to open each cage, and the other monkeys are running around taking your tools to go open their cages, and at the same time you've got the night watchman moving randomly about, making you freeze. So there's actually a lot to be done. There can be a lot of messing with the other player. They can have almost gotten their cage open and you run in and open it and score all the points. So it's actually quite a fun game. It's also a good game for kids. Russian Crush is a partnership we did with Rackham out of France. It is a race around the track, slam into the other guys, shoot them from behind, and knock them into the wall kind of racing game. What's really neat about it is that it has a modular track with a lot of extra track pieces. So you can build many various tracks to race your cars around from game to game. You can also match up and pair drivers with different cars to get different abilities out of it too. So there's actually a lot of replay value in these races. The other big games I'll talk about is, actually I'm going to talk about one more that's coming out later this year. In October, when we're at the Essen show in Germany, we're going to release it, and then it'll be in stores that same month of October, is Infinite City. And this is not the final box, this is actually an oversized box we made just to show off to people. But Infinite City is a very simple tile game that has a surprising amount of strategy. The rules I can summarize in about one sentence. You play a tile, you put your control token on it, you do whatever the tile says. That's the extent of the rules. As long as you can remember that, you can play the game, because each tile will tell you more stuff to do. It may say put down another tile, it may say remove an influence token from a different tile, swap hands with another player. But it's a very simple game, but it's a very strategic game in that you're trying to gain control of the Infinite City. And we're just really excited about this, and we've gotten a lot of buzz from distribution channels and from the players that we've shown it to. So we're really excited about Infinite City and are looking to have it out soon. These are not the final pieces. The final pieces will actually be really, hard cardboard tiles. These were just printouts we made. But you can see that's the back, and there's the front. We're going to have actual nice wood pieces for your control marker. The transit station. And as soon as I played the transit station, I would put my control marker on it, and then it would say, swap the position of 2 tiles and all attached tokens. So in that case, I could swap those tiles, and that'd be the end of my turn. Now the positioning could affect other things as well, because in the end you score based on continuous connection of your influence. So you can move it around to change things up. Other tiles do many other things, such as the stadium. Return all tokens on adjacent tiles to their owners. So if that was played, that would go away. That would be uncontrolled now until somebody else played something. The game continues until someone runs out of tokens, or until 5 of the power station cards are in play. Once the power station tile hits play, if there's a 5th one, the game ends right then. And so as you can see, it's a very basic game. There's not a lot to the actual play, but there's a great depth to the strategy of how you play it and how you go about winning the game.